Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the predictions. And a big chair, a big guest, EFL. Can I call you EFL anchorman now, Hugh?
I mean, I'm pretty much anchorman. Like, if you put anything
like
in the
Ron
words,
Burgundy.
I will say it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's tremendous. Welcome along, Hugh. I've noticed on the leaderboard now that ex-players are kind of bossing this a little bit. Sam Parkin and Matt Holland are like way ahead of all us kind of pundity, media-y type people. Can you please bridge the gap and catch up Matt and Sam?
I'm going to try. I don't think I'm that bad. So at predicting. So I'm going to try. At least, if we don't get, I want at least a couple of exact results and maybe 60%, go the right way. I'll be happy with that.
That is the way forward. You've got to get those bang on. So the scoring system, I'll give you one for the right outcome, even if you get the wrong result. I'll give you one for the home score, right, even if you've got the wrong outcome, etc. One for the away score. But Bob on will give you a bonus, so you're going to get 4. The most important question, especially being as we've seen penalty shootouts last night and goalkeepers having names written on their bottles. Do you want to go first ahead of me? Do you want me to go first? Or shall we go Swedish pop group, ABBA, and rotate?
Let's rotate.
Let's rotate. So I'll do the first one, and then we'll rotate thereafter. I like it, Hugh. You're the first person to go for that option. So no Friday night game in the Championship this week. Oh, God, the first one's a pig. Coventry versus Sunderland at 12:30. So Coventry are not quite... They super consistent for a while, weren't they? And kept loads of clean sheets. And then Sunderland were all of a sudden in the playoffs, but they've not had the greatest week. So I'm struggling immediately with this one. I don't immediately want to go down the draw route, but that is where my head is going. If Sunderland had full striking options, maybe I might favour them. But let's go for. I know you like a nice busy 12:30 game, Hugh. So let's go for it. I'll go for a 2-2. What say you, Sunderland?
Well. We've gone exactly the same for this.
I love it.
So basically, I couldn't decide whether it would be like a low-scoring draw because Coventry are quite like they fight to their victories and they've had a couple of clean sheets. And the other thing that, like you mentioned with Sunderland, is that they lack striking options, but they've still managed to score goals. So in my heart of hearts, I was like, look, 12:30 Saturday, Coventry are at home. I almost had Coventry 1-0, and I thought, are they going to stop Sunderland from scoring? Will it just be one of those days where they all hell breaks loose, if you like? And if you look at the last few weeks, there's been a few games like that. So I think this has the recipe for that. I think it's hard to stop. I think Gyökeres just is in the mood once again. Jack Clark's been playing well, and they like scoring goals, Sunderland. So I ended up going with the high-scoring draw, 2-2, and hopefully we're both right.
I hope we are both right. Right, good luck with this one then. Reading versus Blackpool. Are you going Paul Ince or are you going Mick McCarthy?
I've gone Paul Ince.
I like it.
But again, I think this is... I don't think this is going to be a classic by any stretch of the imagination. Let's put it that way. And yeah, both sides will be wary of defeat, essentially. And that negativity might, spill over into the game. I think it's going to be the game that's decided in both boxes. I think it's going to be maybe not attritional in terms of aggressive, but I think it will come down to small margins, probably a set piece, and that's why I went for Reading 1-0. I think they'll just edge Blackpool.
We're blatantly going to match each other up all the way down this. What I'm going to do, I'll back against Hugh then deliberately, and for Mick McCarthy. I did this the other day and it worked, but they did lose last night, Blackpool, didn't they? We're recording on Wednesday, by the way. So I will go for a big Mick S-House then, even though I'm probably more inclined to go with what Hugh's saying. I'll go 1-0 Blackpool and go against Hugh then. QPR versus Blackburn. Someone's asked, we're going to be speaking to Hugh, by the way, on Patreon a bit afterwards. Someone's asked Hugh's views on Gareth Ainsworth, so we'll get them in a little bit. Will he win on debut? I think I'm going new manager bounce then, Hugh. I will go for QPR. Let's go for a bit of a chaotic one as well. Let's go 3-1 QPR, full new manager bounce. What do you reckon?
I've gone for a new manager bounce, but the way they've been playing at the moment, that means they just don't lose. So I do think they'll get a new manager bounce, but I don't think they're going to have enough to beat Blackburn. You know, fingers crossed I'll be wrong, but I think it will be one of those days that, you know, Gareth Ainsworth will get to walk off and say, you know, had the ball fallen our way, probably would have been different. I think the mood will be much better. Fingers crossed the Hoops fans will bring a great atmosphere at Loftus Road. You're close to the players, and maybe that will put Blackburn off. But I do think Blackburn are the better side quite clearly on what we've seen over the last 10 games. And I don't think Gareth Ainsworth will have had really long enough to change the tactics massively. That being said, you know, going direct, you know, and you know, trying to put the cat amongst the pigeons, trying to stir things up with Blackburn could work. But I do think, you know, the only reason I don't go for a Blackburn win is they've kind of struggled to score goals as well. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw between QPR and Blackburn. I think that's probably going to be a fair result.
Makes a lot of sense. Stoke versus Millwall. It's your turn to go first, Hugh. Really good win for Stoke last night. Yeah. Millwall are in those playoff positions, but remember, we do skew more optimistic for Millwall at home than we do away from home. Yeah,
exactly. And I've similar to that. You know, I don't think they're going to go to Stoke and score loads of goals, but they are a very difficult team to beat. Millwall work incredibly hard, will always be up for it. You know, no mugs, let's put it that way, in the Championship. And Stoke, I don't think they've really got it going of late. I've kind of stuck my neck out on this one because I think the two sides will be very equal, let's put it that way. And yes, Stoke on the odd occasion can catch you where they just score a couple of goals and they get a win that you weren't maybe expecting. But I think that probably happened this week once for them already. So this is my big 0-0 of the weekend.
Get in there. I love it.
Yeah, so that's what I've gone for.
I was kind of going down that road. So I'll back against you. Do you know what? I looked at the playoffs today, Hugh. No parachute teams in there as of today. Obviously, that will not be the case at the end of the season. I think we all know that. But let's go with Millwall then to push the good run. Bradshaw's a bit of a hot hand at the moment, isn't he? So I agree with you though. It's 1.5 or lower, isn't it? So I'll go 0-1 and I will back Millwall. Norwich versus Cardiff. So I would have had Norwich heavy a few weeks ago on this one, but Cardiff look better, don't they, under Sabri? So I think I'm still on Norwich, but it being a little bit closer. Will Cardiff score? I'm not sure they do. I think Norwich are going to be 60-70% possession on this one. Let's go 2-0 and give Nunes a shout out for an absolutely filthy goal for Norwich last night as well. 2-0 Norwich, Hugh.
I've gone 3-0 Norwich. So a very similar thinking. But I do think being at Carrow Road, they have managed, you know, they went for a couple of bad games, but they have managed to score a decent number of goals in front of their home fans for a couple of games there. So back to repeating that this weekend. And yes, you know, Cardiff have had a good run. I don't think they're going to be eyeing the 3 points at Carrow Road. Could be wrong. But it's going to be a difficult afternoon for them, I think. I've just gone a little bit further than you for the 3-0.
So your turn to go first. Birmingham, and I'm sure you'll address this on the show on Saturday, but more off the pitch, wibblings and wobblings. I don't know whether we go down the sanctions route with this. We'll have to check in on that one. But we always say this: when you're having a bad time, you absolutely do not want to play Luton, do you?
Well, yeah, and that's reflected in my prediction. I've gone for Luton 2-0. And I've been surprised slightly by Birmingham in the past couple of games. Almost like I expected more of them, particularly after the back-to-back wins. That I thought they were just going to be on a bit of a roll. And look, you know, there's a reason why they are where they are. You know, inconsistency is ultimately going to be, you know, the story of the season for teams that finish in and around where they are. So they're capable, clearly, but they haven't managed to stir that intensity, that passion that's kind of led them to their recent victories. I hope they don't go on a massively bad run. But yeah, I just think Luton are, again, a side that have been feeling a little bit more positive of late. Didn't get the result that they wanted at the weekend, but I still think that this is a game that they can go away from home and win. So yeah, again, it's a difficult one to call. It could easily be Birmingham 2-0, and I wouldn't be shocked by that either. But yeah, I've just lent towards Luton.
I agree with you. Let's go. I think we're almost the most stable club versus the most unstable club right now, isn't it? I think Birmingham, I agree with you, they've got quality players, haven't they? So let's go for them to score. So I'll go 2-1 Luton, and just slight variation on the theme. Preston versus Wigan. Oof. I know Wigan have had some draws and some clean sheets. Preston are not in good form. I'm struggling to be positive about either side, sadly. Let's go with, do I go with Sean Maloney, or do I go with home Preston getting back at home? Preston not very good at home, are they? Oh, God, Hugh. Against my better judgment, I'll back Preston, but I'm not really so sure about that. I'll go 1-0 Preston, but I'm sticking my finger in the air and guessing, basically.
I've gone for Preston 1, Wigan 0.
Yeah,
exactly the same. Exactly the same. Yeah. Wigan, again, much better defensively. 3 clean sheets out of 4, I think it is. And I think they're a tougher team to beat, and I think that will continue. But this will be an incredibly tight game. I don't think either side will, create a huge number of chances. Those Preston fans hopefully getting a reduction on the season tickets for next season. But yeah, I've gone for them to edge it just by a goal to nil. I think they'll nick a goal from somewhere, which almost, is kind of me looking at the league position and thinking maybe Wigan will concede 1 goal. That being said, they've been great defensively of late. I wouldn't be shocked by a 0-0 either, but I just think there'll be a goal in it somewhere. Maybe 1-0 Wigan, but I went for the home side, and maybe that's it. Just the home side to win. Tough one to call.
Amen. West Brom v Middlesbrough. So we've got the Championship's form team, essentially, but they have to go away to a parachute team. Is it another win for Borough?
Well, this one was a difficult one as well, because you think, both sides have that creative element in the team at the moment, the ability to score goals, clearly create and score goals. And so I was like, is it going to be the straight shootout of the weekend? And I just, I find it hard to believe that Middlesbrough are going to produce big goal-scoring performances every time they walk out on the pitch. Away from home against West Brom this weekend is certainly a difficult one. Carlos Corberán, defensively, sides, they're not idiots. They don't give much away. So I think this will be a very entertaining but 1-1 draw between these two sides. I think they'll both get on the score sheet. And I think it's one for everyone to keep an eye on this weekend. Could be a great game, great tactical battle. But in the end, if it's 3-3, fantastic. I think the draw is definitely the result. But there's part of me that just thinks you can't go out every week and score 3. So I went for the 1-1.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We get seduced in. I'm totally on the Middlesbrough train. But then you're right, they've won 12 out of 14. And, how many sides win 15 out of 17 or whatever? I saw West Brom on Monday, Hugh, and I was a bit irritated by them in the first half. I thought they could have done more with what they had. So I'm here for the narrative. I'm here for the promotion race. I will let that supersede any sensible logic you've put forward, and I'll go for a Middlesbrough win. I'll go for a 2-1 to the Borough.
Okay.
I agree with all the tightness business. Burnley v Huddersfield. Now, I was all over the Warnock bounce last week. This week, I'm not all over the Warnock bounce, because this is a rather different game than Birmingham at home. I would love a Warnock S-House and a 1-0 set play, but I don't think it's happening. And I will go heavy on Burnley. Let's go for Huddersfield to score. 4-1. Burnley 4, Huddersfield 1. Sorry, Huddersfield fans.
I've gone 4-0 to Burnley. So
there it is.
Also going heavy. Yeah, I think this is clearly a big mismatch. Huddersfield's hardest game, anyone's hardest game, going to Turf Moor this season. And I think Neil Warnock, the message will be, obviously, look, they don't expect anything of you. You can go out there, prove yourself a quality player, against the best opposition in the league. I just don't know how far that message will go. It will work in other matches. I just don't know how you beat Vincent Kompany's side with that this weekend. He hasn't had that long with the players. I'm sure they've had a fantastic, fun, energetic week, and they'll take a lot of positivity into that game. But, Burnley are looking irresistible, and it's hard to look past them at home.
You nailed it. He's so on it with the psychology. Even after they beat Birmingham, he immediately was like, "Oh, I think I'll take the." He was already playing down. So you're right. He's going to be targeting other games, maybe not this one. Right. I'm fascinated to see where you go with this one. Sheffield United versus Watford. Sheffield United a little bit jittery for a couple of games. Watford, loads of individual quality, but we never have a clue what they're going to do.
Yeah. Watford away from home is an interesting one. Like, they are a difficult team to beat, and they do have a squad of good players, and they're very capable of scoring a goal without playing particularly well, you know, most weeks. Sheffield United haven't played particularly well, and there's part of me that thinks maybe I'm getting sucked into the narrative with Middlesbrough as well. They're just the edge has just come off them a little bit. And look, in my opinion, they will get promoted. They're a side more than capable of fighting their way to promotion. I think they were playing better football at the early part of the season, and then as we got into that winter period, I think the quality of their performances has maybe tailed off a bit. But they have the organisation, they have the aggression, they have lots of quality, they have the ability to score goals. It's just that Watford are a good squad as well. Good squad of players there. So I think this is very evenly matched as well. Neither of them are absolutely top form. Both of them carrying a level of positivity, some things to work on. But I think Sheffield United just with one eye over their shoulder, Watford maybe feeling like they now have the opportunity to build on the victory at the start of the week. I think it's still going to be a tight game. So I've gone for 1-1. I think it will be a draw, this game. But again, it's one of those, you know, they say the Championship, just about anything can happen. You wouldn't be surprised if it was 4-3. You wouldn't be surprised if it was 4-0 to Sheffield United. You wouldn't be surprised if Watford nicked a 1-goal victory away from home either. So this was probably the hardest one to predict. And in the end, I just went for evenly matched in my mind. Both capable of scoring a goal. Tough game for both. 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go... I'll go Sheffield United. I think they've been spooked enough by this past couple of weeks, and they're at home. I know they're at home against Borough, which might debunk that argument I'm making, but they're at home, and I just think Watford, if you get Bramall Lane moving, and like all the things you said about their solidity and their kind of consistency, I think that might win it for them. But I'll only go one goal different to you, Hugh. I'll go 2-1. Bristol City versus Hull.
Yeah.
No idea. Absolutely no idea. Hull dropped off a little bit the past couple of games. I would have had them favourites a couple of weeks ago. Bristol City. Pearson's second anniversary today, Twitter tells me. Go on then. Let's go Bristol City. I'll go for a silly one. 3-2 Bristol City. Okay.
I've gone Bristol City 2-1. This game, I was desperate to put 0-0 down. Like, I was desperate to say, like, And I thought, well, look, the young attacking players at Bristol City at home, they always provide something. And then you've got Hull City, who, Liam Rossini's improved them a lot. I just think there's been a little bit of a wobble in the past couple of games, really, from them in terms of the consistency. So, again, maybe an improved performance here. And I know Liam Rossini was talking about the way that they started the last match. I think they'll start well. I think they'll get another early goal. I just think the quality of Bristol City and the quality of the interplay in an attacking sense, which I think is getting better as the season goes on, actually. I think they will win at home, really, and that will be the difference. So that's the prediction. By the way, I can't look into the future, but that's in my mind how I see the game playing out.
Right, last one, Hugh, is the Monday nighter, Swansea versus Rotherham.
Yeah. Swansea, 80% possession, 26 shots, 10 on target, 1 goal. And Rotherham, 3 shots on target, 1 goal. So I've gone Swansea 1, Rotherham 1. It's just that season for Swansea at the moment. They create so much, doesn't seem to hit the back of the net enough. And I think Rotherham have been improved. They had a couple of draws against sides higher up the table.
Great result last night, Hugh.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, and then culminating in that, obviously. So, I do think they're in a good mindset at the moment, even away from home, and they're not fearing anything. So tough game for Swansea now, aside fighting for their lives. And Swansea, you know, things not clicking off the field, not necessarily clicking on it either. Not really sure what the future holds for the coaching team and the squad at the moment. And it's been a difficult period for them because they play pretty good stuff. It's just not really as good in the final third as they need it to be. And they'll probably see it as 2 points dropped. I think Rotherham, despite their league position, you can't really underestimate them, as we've seen. And it'll be the same on Monday.
You've stolen my narrative, everybody. I was going to go for the Swansea to have loads of the ball and not win. So the other narrative, which I'm more down your one, but I just want to go back against you now just for the sake of it. The other narrative is it actually clicks and Swansea have a good day. So I'll go for that, even though I actually think that Hugh's narrative is more likely. So I'll go 2-0 Swansea and it actually clicks. Although at the moment, I totally agree with you that I see one jittery, slightly chaotic, anxious club and one kind of pushing together in the direction, and that would be Rotherham. But for the sake of the predictions, I'll go the other way. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Get involved down there in the comments. Get your own predictions in, preferably comments before the fact and before the games, rather than being smart about what Hugh or I have got wrong after the fact, which we all know is going to happen. We're going to keep rolling over here, and we're going to chat with Hugh maybe a bit about the World Cup. We've got some questions in on Twitter. I want to know about TalkSport. I want to know about ITV. So we're going to chat about all of that. So do head over www.patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom to hear Hugh's views on all of that.